Come with us now, if you dare, down a rickety staircase into a dank, dark basement. What awaits? The Saturday Night Freak Show.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Saturday Night Freak Show podcast, the movie review and talk show podcast that comes your way every Saturday, whether you're ready for it or not. And these are the Internet Radio Superstars.
Holly, Michaela.
Sean.
And I'm Colin. And tonight we watched a movie that was chosen by...
Sean, what movie did we watch tonight?
Well, if Colin reset us last week, which he claims he did, if we've reestablished our baseline, and this is... maybe the new era of the Freak Show. I decided new era,
same
as the old era.
He reset us in the sense that he gave us a new low.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, again, we established the baseline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where,
Wait, is this like the podcast version of Taking the Substance? Did we just like
kinda?
Was that watching a Neil Breen movie? You birth a new like cinematic, form from your brain,
right? And
Yeah.
we can't be completely new, so we got to go back to the old body every now and again. So we are in a mix of both of them right now.
So this is the off week for the substance body, huh?
Sure.
This is the 7 days in the closet. Yeah.
But I figure if we're gonna reestablish, if we got reset, we should reestablish. And what better way to reestablish than with a Wes Craven movie? So we watched Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes.
A classic.
Which I have never seen. So when we called the class, I'm like, I've never seen this classic.
So there you go. So is it a classic?
I was
You'll
going to
find
say
out
a
at the end of
classic,
this.
so
Yeah.
to speak. So they say.
Right, so
We'll
they
see what
say.
everyone thinks. Yeah.
But
what year?
everyone else has had like 40-something years to think about this.
What year was this?
1977.
77.
So we are 3 years removed from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, it's interesting you bring that movie up.
Ah!
Yeah.
Share,
You didn't think we'd bring that up during
share a few things.
Is this a reaction to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Maybe not so a reaction as more of a...
We can do that. I think that's sort of.
Is that where horror is right now, and that's where we can go?
But I think reaction to me implies it has something more to say.
Yeah,
and I don't think this movie has anything more to say than what was already previously stated.
Right, whereas a love letter is kind of just like, I loved it, and here's a little bit more of that.
Is that what you think it is?
You think it's a love letter?
I think it's closer to a love letter than a reaction.
I think so. Wes Craven.
Response.
I say Wes Craven was a fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It shares that. It shares the production designer who worked on both movies. If you couldn't tell, I'd say it's more than just a love letter, but that is a big part of it.
Okay. Okay.
Colin, you
maybe
you have thoughts?
Maybe.
Right.
Well, we'll see.
Really? Okay. All right.
Okay. So Wes Craven.
I'm thinking Colin thinks it's maybe more of a cash grab than a love letter.
No.
Okay.
I do actually think
this is
that
an
there's
interesting
something.
spectrum we've come up with, though. Here, like you're saying, love letter, cash grab. Response.
I think there's something there.
The spectrum of movies influenced by other movies. Where do they fall on the spectrum?
Right.
Oh,
It is. No, I like it. It's a good ranking system.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Yeah.
Well, so I guess where we're
this
coming
is our
from.
homework, Sean. We'll work on this and come up with a draft of this spectrum because I see your wheels turning.
No, many good thoughts. Again, as we stumble into the new era of the Saturday Night Freak Show, it's good to.
Well, what year was Last House on the Left predates?
72.
Yeah, so that actually is like hardcore.
Yeah,
like 70s era horror. What do we mean when we say that? I mean, what do you expect when you watch like somebody says like, okay, it's like a gritty horror movie from the 70s.
It doesn't look like a movie. It just looks more like documentary footage. It doesn't look like sets and actors. It looks very homegrown.
And that comes from probably budgetary reasons for movies back in the day. Things
it's just dirty. Any set or prop is just something you found in a barn.
Yeah. So more, like you said, more gritty, more quote unquote to real life, or just not
feel more
gussied
realistic?
up. And this?
I mean, compared to I don't even know.
But 70s and the movies in the 70s kind of do to me, you know, just because they have that. I mean, you watch a lot of documentaries nowadays. They use footage from a time where it looked like this movie, and so you get that feeling for it.
Yeah,
and so it kind of feels more documentary, like real life, kind of.
Which then kind of makes the horror closer.
Yes, because it makes it a little more real. Even
this one we have Hollywood did remake this, right? I mean, there was was a Hills Have Eyes remake.
That's the only one I've seen of Tonight's Night. Is I had seen the Alex Aja remake,
right, from 2006. Have you seen?
I've seen both.
Oh, seen both. Okay, all right, good. All right, Colin is. I'm not even going to question. Colin's seen them all.
Yeah, but I mean, Aja at that time, was and a very capable filmmaker, and the guy that you would pick, I guess, to do a Texas or a Hills Have Eyes remake because I mean it did not hold back. I guess that was the kind of thing.
No, it's that was a one and done for me. That was I got it. I got it on the first watch.
That is a hard watch.
That it is a hard watch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It is.
Comparative to this,
it's way worse than this one, I think.
Way worse than
because the characters are actual mutants in the remake.
Yeah.
They are affected by nuclear. And they are not just hillbillies. They are disgusting prosthetic monsters.
Yeah.
Ooh, right.
And
they go harder with the rape.
The rape is harder.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the dog's story is different. And the baby, when the baby gets abducted, I remember the scene because I remember when they filmed it, it was controversial. First of all, the mutants don't really speak English because they're just kind of like mongoloid monsters.
Sure.
But
there's no radio communication between them.
Not in the same way. Okay. And then but they can understand English. And so they're like, no, please, not the baby. And they take a gun and then they point at the baby's face when she says not the baby. And then she's screaming and then they cock it.
I remember
and
that.
it's a real baby and they're holding the gun
Well, I think it was CG or something where they put the gun in after the fact or something.
But it's an actual baby actor.
But it's a real baby.
And
although I remember Alex
that's early on in the movie too.
Yeah,
I bet
he was saying something about because I was looking at this one and for some reason there's like a parakeet scene in this where I thought in the remake I thought they did it. I think he bites the head off of but I remember Alex Aja was saying that Wes Craven had kind of his producer notes was like, hey, you shouldn't go that far, you shouldn't do that,
Peter Locke
and no, I mean on the remake.
On the remake,
Craven produced the remake. I was telling Aja you shouldn't go that far, and Aja was like, "You're the guy who made The Hills Have Eyes." I mean, it's just over time. I think, and we did Wes Craven's New Nightmare on this show. I think he was trying to grapple with what he had unleashed on the world of his horror movies.
They almost ate the baby. They almost ate the baby in this movie. It was suggested.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that at all.
But his horror movies, I guess, and movies from the 70s, when I think of them, it's you're in for a rough time. It's they're not necessarily poised as entertainment or fun. They are trying to horrify you, and there's no societal guardrails. It's in the 70s, it was you thought Mad Men were making these movies, It was holy shit. So then,
the tagline is "The lucky ones died first."
Yeah. And his first movie had that whatever it's only keep telling yourself it's only a movie. Only a movie.
It's only a movie.
So in some ways, it does feel like he's going after some of the same themes as he went after in Last House on the Left, right? In some ways, it's it's remaking the theme of that movie, which is pitting two family types against each other. Yeah. And the idea that one family type may think that they're civilized or better, but what do we end up doing? It depends on the situation you're in. Right. But isn't it the same movie as Last House on the Left?
I have not seen Last House on the Left.
It's these guys
there's not much of a story to it.
But it's the idea that these guys kidnap and rape these girls and then seek shelter in a home with the parents, and then it's what horrors are the parents actually capable of once they're, and that's a remake of a Ingmar Bergman movie.
Wow.
You know what this is based on?
Sawney Bean.
Yeah, who's that?
Sawney Bean is he was a Scottish. It was Scottish. He I think he lorded over a cult of what's it up to? 1,000? No, the victims.
45.
Something the victims ranged over 40-something years.
Yeah,
in which
it's 3,000 or something.
Yeah, it's a large number where murder, torture, rape, what have you.
They were I don't know, what would you call them? Brigands in the Scottish Highlands that lived in a cave.
Yeah.
An inbred society, and they were cannibals, and I think they were rooted out eventually when King John or something sent.
Yeah, there was a king who sent them in there to get rid of them.
After years. Yeah, and they found decayed, half-eaten bodies.
Oh, I'm sure it was either the house from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or the cave from Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
Lining the walls.
So he's kind of transplanting that or using that as the basis of this kind of. So if you haven't seen the movie, well, I'm assuming a lot of people probably are familiar with it, but I guess people are listening who are maybe
but
like
also I've never seen it. And, I've seen some shit.
So what is The Hills Have Eyes? How do we start The Hills Have Eyes?
We started at the gas station of doom.
Right, which you have to have out in the middle of nowhere.
Right, yeah. So before we get to the family showing up and giving a warning about, don't go down that road, don't go to that town, don't go in that cave. Families are dumb.
Well, what are they doing in this? Well, okay, before that. Yeah.
Before that, we get so is he all right, the gas station attendant who owns the place seems like he lives there, just in the back of it and everything. Is he the grandfather of everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Later. Okay.
Well,
so he is in relation to all of them. They call him Grandpa, right?
Yes. Because I think he was the father of Jupiter.
Right. And Jupiter is the one who's leading the group of.
With like the split nose.
Yeah. Because he did something one day, and then the Grandpa came back and split his face with a tire iron.
Yeah, he was a mutant baby or something. He was born. He burned down the house and killed his sister and the mother. And
he tells a story. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, like the background of this, like the mythology is like contained in the movie. I mean, like you pretty much know who everybody is, and like, I mean, I enjoyed that about the script and how it's like I got like who everybody was. So this guy is like, he looks like an old prospector.
Basically, yes.
And he's out in the last chance for gas somewhere in, did we say it's New Mexico?
So the remake is in New Mexico, which is why I thought that. So I'm not sure if this one's specified. Because it puts it near the nuclear testing site. Yes.
And Area 51. And so it's around that. So it's still Nevada, right? Area 51.
Oh,
it's Nevada.
51 is.
It seems like it's New Mexico, Nevada. It's somewhere in there because they talk about how far off from California they really are.
Right.
True.
So it's somewhere in that area.
I do like that the remake specified New Mexico because I love when a horror movie picks a random state that doesn't usually get like kind of settings like this. Oh, I've like, how many New Mexico movies have you seen?
Because it's just the desert.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you get away from
true.
I like that they're trying something new. It's just like how in the Descent they're like, we're going to go in the Appalachian caves or whatever. It's like, okay, sure, why not?
If they keep picking New Mexico, though, people are going to be like, New Mexico's got some weird shit going on there.
I mean, this movie probably put a bunch of people off of New Mexico, I'm sure.
New Mexico, like, it's got meth runners in Breaking Bad.
Yep.
It's got mutants, nuclear mutants from...
George R. R. Martin lives there, not writing the books he's supposed to be finishing.
Not writing the books.
He owns a little movie theater.
Yep.
Oh, does he?
Yep.
Oh, there you go. He needs to move someplace cold, I think, to finish that story.
He has he has a writing house, right? Did you know this?
Just for writing?
It's next door. It's next, or is it across the street? Across the street from his
actual house. He owns the house across the street to have his writing house. And I'm like, his neighbors are just always watching to see if he's going across the street to the writing house.
They're reporting in.
And the writing house allegedly only has his DOS computer in it.
Oh,
because he writes on DOS. Yes, because he said he doesn't like spell check correcting like his made up fantasy words when he writes books. It's like turn spell check off.
Okay.
I was like, you could just turn that off.
But I think it's also he can't have the internet on his computer because then he'll never get any writing done. So I think he has to like lock it down.
Understandable,
yeah.
I understand that.
But that's
like, bro, just use a typewriter.
So are all the reporters just like with the neighbors going, did he go to the house? Is he
did you ask him if he's working on winter yet?
Yeah. It's like, okay.
It'll never be done.
Never.
So they set up a lot in this movie, like in the first scene. I mean, it drops you in pretty cold, right? I mean, it gets you ramped up like pretty quick.
Yep.
The prospector is visited by a woman named Ruby.
Yes.
And so what do we get? I mean, like, do you get like the relationship that they have like right off the jump? I mean,
I think so. Like she comes there to trade and he's talking about, he ends up talking about the family. Does he mention that?
Well, they raided like an Army PX base, and that
whiskey
has now
and radios.
Triggered this. This is the analog for the King John search, right? They're going to send the National Guard through here, and they're going to find him. I mean, that's like set up at the beginning of that's coming. So this is in the final days of this clan, anyway, I guess. But yeah, she's there to trade, but
he's leaving.
Yeah,
she
wants to go with. So we're also setting up her a little bit as like she's
as one of them, but also one who may be a little more on the side of our soon-to-be victims. / characters that we have coming in, because she wants to leave. She knows the dangers of this family. She's tired of eating, Bob and dog.
Yeah.
So she's done.
Yeah.
And the way they set up their interaction, it does make sense later on when we find out their relation. Because in this moment, the first time I watched it, I was thinking, why is he dealing with these people? Like, why is he? Why is he? But he seems to have like a soft spot for her.
They're his progeny,
and it's like it doesn't make sense. But then later on, you find out like they're actually related. That's her grandfather.
Yeah.
Like it makes more sense,
right?
Because on first watch, you're like, why?
Right. Yeah.
Why are you interacting with these psycho
I wonder,
people?
It kind of played like in Children of the Corn, the gas station attendant and that, who had a deal with the cannibals or whatever, or the
As
evil kids in that one. But this one I think is better because of that familial connection. But then something random happens. A family shows up.
Indeed.
And they're on their way to California. Why are they going this way?
To get to look at a silver mine that apparently has been given to the couple for their 25th wedding anniversary.
Which
their
is
silver
anniversary, I guess.
So they gave them the family. I guess so. They gave them the family silver mine.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they look much older than having only been married for 25 years.
He does.
Their kids look in their 40s. I know they're not.
Right.
I know it's just how people
right.
looked
And it's
at the
hard
time,
because,
but...
we've been looking at D. Wallace Stone forever.
Yeah.
And so we kind of just, you see her how you see her, but she never would peg her for like being young.
But I'm looking at like mom and dad, and I was like, they look much older than having been married for 25 years.
Yeah. Maybe closer to 40, yeah.
I was like, exactly.
Married for 40 years.
I was like, so you're telling me they're like 50?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, get out of here. Get out of here. No.
So we've got, like, I guess the movie's construction of the American nuclear family. This is like going to be important for, I guess, what the theme of the movie is, right?
Yeah.
So you got
family.
Bob and
Brenda
are the patriarch. No, Brenda's the kid.
Brenda's the kid.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob Senior.
Yep.
And Mom, I don't know.
And Mom, can't remember Mom's name. And
Mom.
then you have their kids. Ethel, right? Of course.
Carter.
Yeah.
Which is the most 70s name in the
Did
world.
they ever say Ethel? I don't know.
They
do a couple times actually.
Which I'm pretty sure in the remake is Kathleen Quinlan.
Yeah.
Oh.
She played. Yeah.
Really?
And
Interesting.
Ted Silence of the Lambs Levine.
Yeah.
Is
Ted Levine.
dad,
Yes.
Oh, all right.
And
I'm interested.
do you remember that actress that was famous for like 1 second, Emily DeRavin? She was the daughter
From Lost.
Yes,
I like
and
her.
also
She's
from
Brenda.
Freak Show favorite Remember Me. She's the girl in the 9/11 romance movie with Robert Pattinson.
All right.
Isn't like Pyro from the X-Men like the main guy, or like not Bobby, but Doug?
Oh, really?
I don't
Doug? I can't remember.
There's a Doug. Doug
looks like Sonny Bono.
Doug looks
In
like
this
Sonny
one,
Bono.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's the son-in-law, right?
He's the son-in-law.
Is he?
Yes, because he keeps calling her Ethel, and then he's like, Ma!
Oh, that's right. And then they talk about how her language has gotten worse since she moved to New York.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So
Doug's the son-in-law.
Doug's the son-in-law,
Okay.
married to Dee Wallace.
So Dee Wallace,
Lynn.
Bobby, and Brenda are the three kids. And then you've also got two additional,
Katie.
Katie the baby.
Katie the baby.
And two additional members of the family.
Beauty
and the Beast.
What kind of dogs are those?
German Shepherd.
German Shepherd.
German Shepherds.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Beauty might be mixed with something else. I don't know. But
I think they're both full German Shepherd.
you think full? Okay, I'll go with that. But yes, German Shepherds.
stars of the movie.
Yeah, hell
Stars
yeah.
of the movie.
It's their movie.
It is their movie. The family around these dogs is not.
They suck.
Okay.
They're not responsible people.
I know the 70s were a different time, but like they didn't have to go out of their way to make this family this despicable. You know what I'm saying? Like, are we supposed to find these anecdotes charming? Like,
did you read them as despicable? Like all
I
of
mean,
them?
they came off pretty horrible. They're just irresponsible about everything. But they tell this story about Beast attacking a dog when they lived in Miami and ripping it to shreds.
Yeah.
And I can't believe we had to pay the vet bills for a dead poodle.
Yeah.
Like, this is a hilarious.
Their dog
anecdote.
murdered another dog, and they're like, "Isn't that funny?"
Yeah.
They've got the alpha dog.
And like it's like the whole family's laughing about it. They all like chime in to share the story about their dog's hilarious murder. It's like
It was a different time.
It was,
and
yeah.
then the
As you said,
dad
it was a different
talking about how he was on the police force in Cincinnati and he makes racial slurs.
Oh, those came out of nowhere.
Yeah, racial slurs and like derogatory terms. And he's like, and these people, you know, they're not any worse than my own wife with the roadmap. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Yeah. Are these so? Wow. Are we supposed to like these people?
I don't.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a former retired policeman. He beat people with phone books. I guarantee
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
he said his own men shot at him.
Yes.
Right,
But none of them got as close
Sorry,
to killing
Chief.
him as his own wife.
Yeah.
It's like, my
Yeah,
God.
you know how bad
you're
of a cop you have to be to have the other cops shoot you?
Jesus.
Yeah. But Bob is the like head dog of the family, right? And so
He's the-
everybody
the
kind of
patriarch.
falls
The
in
patriarch.
in line with like his orders. That's I guess what the movie's setting up. It's like he's the head guy. So if anybody's going to protect them, it's going to be Bob, right? But this being the
Big
70s, we're going to find out like
I like
where the
that.
actual
Yeah.
the
I like
strength
that
in the
these
family actually
Awful
is.
people took a minute to pray at one point.
Yep.
I don't think you're supposed to read them as awful.
all right.
I think, you know, I mean, clearly they love each other and, you know, they have like this little bond. I mean, I don't know. They came
Yeah,
off as
I agree. I don't think we're supposed to read them as awful. It's
Yeah.
just, you know, our contemporary views of, especially things have changed so
Even
much.
the patriarch with like that whole speech with the slurs and talking about his wife. Is that all supposed to be?
I mean, go
funny
back to
and endearing?
1978.
Yeah,
I was like,
think
this
in
is the
1977,
70s.
that would
It was
read as
probably
like,
funny
that's
and endearing.
the
70s
white
were a
man's
different
burden
time.
back then.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that's
Ugh, yikes.
again. That
It's
is-
it's just gross to accept.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they are like, so they're looking for directions, I guess. Like that's the reason that they've stopped off here.
Yes.
The guy does actually try to give them
many
like,
times.
yeah, don't go out
Just
there.
don't do it.
He's like, there's nothing there. Go to California. Forget about it.
Just stay on the road.
Yeah.
Don't be idiots.
That's the old.
There's nothing
like,
out there. He even said, like, it's like, you think anybody lives out there? It's like nobody you'd want to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do it. They got enough warning, so you can't like.
But is he actually thinking that when he sends them on their way, they're going to stay on the main road? I mean, you know, well,
Probably not. He's like, they look stupid. They're gonna go do
Yeah.
this, and they're gonna run into.
I mean, he's
someone.
probably thinking, I've warned them literally a dozen times in the last minute and a half. If they're going to go, they're going to
Yeah,
go. Like, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, he washes his hands.
I mean,
of it
he
at that point.
himself is packing up his truck to leave,
yeah.
you know?
Well, he's getting out of there, but he can't. And how come?
They stole his pig.
Well, Ruby's hiding in his shack
Right,
because her family is showing up.
right. They think the police are showing up, so he hides
Yeah.
everybody.
And then when that family leaves, then they blow up his truck.
Yeah,
then
so
his
they
other family
being
shows
the
up.
yeah.
The Hills people.
So he's not even
Hill
getting
people.
out of there. He's
Like,
like,
is this where we get hill people from?
Yes. This is where
From
you-
this?
Yes.
So they don't stay on the road. Well, they do, but like, what have they not accounted for on their drive to the silver mine,
The fact that it's like a bombing zone.
which they were warned about?
They
Yes.
were warned about.
And so flybys eventually drive them off the road. They can't like and a rabbit, I think.
And a rabbit. But this is
Yeah.
the most work done without showing an explosion. Like, this is sound work. Really working hard to show you that these people are messed up from jets flying so low. And are the jets bombing? It sounds like the jets are bombing. We just don't
I
see an
just think it's like
explosion.
really low flybys
How
or something
low?
like that. But I mean, enough. I think it
Because
almost
they're in the
feels like the
middle
car
of-
gets
nothing
stuck
echoes.
in the,
They're in the middle of the
jet
desert.
wash. You know?
But yes, they are bombarded almost by jets flying over, and everyone in the car goes nuts. They throw a map in Big Bob's face,
Yep.
and so he goes, breaks an axle, goes off the road, breaks all his shit, and they are stuck, stranded on a desert road in the middle of the Mojave.
And so you figure this is probably bad for everybody. Like,
Yeah.
what are we going to do? So they decide, okay, we are going to do what I suppose a rational person would do. You're going to go that way, and
Yeah,
and
until you
gonna
reach someone, and you're going to go this way because they have nothing. Like they have a CB, but they can't get anybody. There's nothing. It's 1977. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
No other way to contact anybody unless you're going to, send a carrier pigeon
I mean,
somewhere.
you could flag down one of those little flying planes.
I was like, yeah, the government noticed this
Yeah.
shit.
They
They're
don't give a
flying
shit.
over it.
Well, they
It's all jets flying real fast.
Yeah.
No
they
one's
have
gonna,
that idea later to like light something on fire. You
Yeah.
figure
Yeah.
that might do
That seems
something.
like a good
it's a
start.
shot in the dark.
Mhm.
Literally.
So we are aware that there's somebody out there that the hills have eyes, right? Because we hear them. There's like this, the presence is kind of like given to us a little bit at a time, right? So basically the two guys, Doug and Bob, are leaving the camp.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's like the first sign that there's something really wrong out here?
So do we get the dogs before Bob ends up at the... Okay, so we get the dogs. Beauty is let loose by Brenda? Brenda, who's the worst?
She's the worst, yeah.
What does she do? She like opens a... Bobby has put the dog in the...
Because Bobby talks about how like Beauty barks at everything, so he puts her in the RV to like try to calm her down. And then Brenda just walks over and lets her out.
Just opens the door and
lets her out.
Yeah.
And then she runs off, and they talk about how Beast is the calm one, that he doesn't bark or growl at anything until it's right there.
Yeah.
Because he's more of a hunter.
Until he's ready to go.
Yeah. He's more ready to pounce. So not long after Beauty runs off, he starts growling. She's like, okay, well, there's something nearby.
And what's his name goes after? What's his name?
Bobby.
Bobby goes after her. He's like, no, I have to chase Beauty. So Bobby chases Beauty through the rocks.
Yeah.
The hills. Up the hills,
but these like rocky hills with these big like white boulders just go up, so there's like no discernible path. It's just like it seems really easy to get lost.
Right, it's just outcroppings of rocks,
exactly.
And that's it.
And I'm like seriously impressed with his rock climbing skills and just like regular like Nikes and shorts.
Yeah, well, Bobby's like the track star or something like that.
He's an athlete.
Yeah,
but between him and Beauty, just going up rocks and everything, I'm just like, all right, I'm impressed.
Well, because you look at the movie and it's all just landscapes of like, just these rocky formations, hills. And I think it's one of those things where you can't tell like just the distance, like how far that stuff is actually away from you.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're up there, I mean, like, no, you could be yelling and like nobody's going to hear you anyway. It's like pretty dire. So
So he's running the path through there, and eventually he ends up finding Beauty, and she has been
gutted,
slit from groin to sternum, as a later Wes Craven movie would say. And then does he fall, gets knocked out? Something happens to him where we think he has also been taken or hit by the
because they keep showing that there's someone watching him very close by, and then he does end up falling or he trips and falls.
Something where he ends up hurting his face and everything, and so he disappears for quite a while.
Which leaves the women back at the RV.
Yep.
Do we learn anything like about their personalities, like because I guess you're sitting there, you're trying to figure out how this movie is going to play. You know that eventually these people are going to come into jeopardy, and so you're going like, okay, who's the most likely to survive? Who is the most likely to not?
Right. I didn't think more people get dispatched than I thought they would.
That's what's surprising.
It is surprising because, and this may be because, and this is an early movie, but like I figured Dee Wallace would be around for a little longer. But again, it's an early movie. It's early in Dee Wallace's career.
She was around for a good chunk.
Everyone's around for a good chunk. But then we get to like the raid on the camper at a certain point, and we're just like, ugh.
This is done in a way that's kind of like, like a military-like approach. Like these folks have been out there doing this for like so long, right? That they actually, they know human nature. Yeah. They can anticipate what like their quarry's next move. I mean, they're hunters. Like
they are hunters. Basically. They're on radios. They're coordinating their attacks because one of them, Michael Berryman, sneaks into the camper at a certain point. I didn't realize his fingers were like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he has like a genetic condition where he doesn't have hair, eyebrows, fingernails. And something else.
And he also does not have sweat glands.
Yeah, sweat glands, yep.
And considering working in the 100-something degree desert for most of the shoot, like...
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Good for him for making a career out of having this condition, though. Like,
seriously,
it's given him a unique look.
Before. Yeah. Having that look that just gets you jobs and everything. Yeah.
I've seen it. He's on the convention circuit all the time. Seems like a really nice dude. He's really tall, though, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's really tall.
He stopped me once to take a picture of him and like a convention goer.
Yeah, he's really nice.
Can you help me with
that? He's really nice.
No, he seems like the nicest guy.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's still alive, right?
He is.
Working.
He's still working.
Is he on the?
Rob
is he on the
Zombie
wall? Because
movies,
previous movies like The Guyver, like he put him on the wall.
Yeah,
he's on the wall.
He's on the wall.
So
if nothing else, I'll fucking staple him there right now.
No, he's on the wall for sure.
I guess so we've already talked, I think, about like what Bob discovers when he goes back to the gas station, right?
Back to the gas station, yeah.
And talks to the prospector dude.
Yeah, he finds a man who's so desperate he'd rather hang himself than be found by the people we haven't met yet. Like that
I think he had the right idea.
I agree.
I don't blame him.
But well, maybe right idea. I don't know. That's a tough decision to make.
Does that?
But
that's me, honestly.
But also, he knows what they're capable of. So
yeah, he knows
Do you
Papa
guys-
Jupiter's coming from.
Do you guys not ever think about like an apocalyptic situation and think about at what point in the apocalypse you
Where
would
you're
say,
just-
I'm done and
where
I'm ending this for myself?
You know,
Like-
not until
Think about the minor inconveniences
maybe the
that
last
frustrate
year,
you now.
Michaela, that I've really gotten into that. But yeah, so I don't think things have gotten bad enough quite yet. But I've put that into my thought process.
Well, does it give the bad
Take a
guys
note.
who you haven't seen more of a mythic kind of like, oh shit, like this guy would rather kill himself?
Yeah,
You're like-
right. That just adds to the legend and the status of the people that are going to attack these people, the people in the hills.
Well, what does he find out? I mean, I guess
This is where he finds first he shoots at he hangs himself awfully quick because he gets shot at first. Big Bob does, and then he runs in and the prospector has hung himself and he ends up bringing him down and everything. And then the prospector gives the prospector.
sorry,
No, it's all right. It works.
It works.
It works.
Yeah.
It gives the story of the family basically at this point about
His kin.
his kin, how they came from him. I don't remember the specific details of the story, but
well, he had so the kid Jupiter is his son,
right.
Who came out sideways and almost split his mother in half.
Yeah.
20
'Cause he had-
pounds. He claimed he was.
had a happy wife with a beautiful wife, and his other child was a beautiful little girl. But then this one was just not quite right.
Yeah, 20-pound baby.
Yeah.
It was all
That would-
hairy.
Yeah, hairier than
He was
a
taller
monkey.
than me when he was 8. Or
Yeah,
whatever,
over
10
10.
years old.
Yeah. Woo.
Then there were accidents and animals with their heads bitten off, and
Yeah.
and then eventually one day, I think the kid set fire to the house and killed both mom and the daughter.
Right, and that's when he split that kid's face with a tire iron.
Yep.
And left
Scar.
him, and then took him out to the desert and left him.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, he's not going to survive out here.
Yeah.
But he did. He stole a prostitute that nobody would miss, and then had a bunch of kids.
Yep.
And so they, okay, we're like, all right, that's who is out there. I don't think we have actually seen any of them at this point, right?
Well, Ruby.
Oh, sorry, we've seen Ruby.
And we saw one like running by that was covered in like animal skins,
right?
and
And the
stuff.
headdress. And everything. That's the producer of the movie, Peter Locke.
Yeah.
playing Mercury.
Playing Mercury, yes.
Yeah.
In a cameo.
They're all planetary
planets.
bodies, right?
Yeah, Jupiter,
Which
Mars,
is-
Mercury.
That I found
Pluto.
weirdly distracting because I'm like, wait, so what level of education do these people have?
Right.
I was like, hold on, are
that's-
we inbred hill people?
There was
or not?
there was a little book of planets, which was the only book they had.
So that I would have appreciated that added detail. you
I
know?
would have too, because that is one thing about this movie that I never quite liked, is that they seem too smart.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when they're hunting and they've got
Yeah.
strategy and they're on the radio and they're doing their fake radio.
Right.
Yeah.
They do.
And
You're right.
I'm like, these people are way too smart to be hill people.
Yeah, I mean, they know about enough about mechanical, like how to siphon gas, and
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't track.
Yeah,
They're
is
way
this
too
generations of inbred people or not? Like, how recently have they become feral? Because this doesn't make sense.
I don't know if like Michael Berryman doesn't seem like he's not a child of them, but he seems like he was an acquired. Like he
is a child of them.
Yeah.
He seems too old to be a
I'm
child
gonna
of them.
go
Maybe it's just by
30
his look and
years
everything.
because he said it was in the 20s, right? In the 30s, I think was when his house burned down.
Yeah.
So the kid was 10 years old in the 30s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's when he went, and now it's the 70s.
You're right. They seem too smart for this whole.
Yes, they do. They
Well,
seem way
they've
too
been out
smart.
there for so long. I mean,
And
I
they
guess
have
that's the
been near
thing.
a
It's like-
military.
and they have English. I mean,
Yeah.
they speak, like.
Right, but they do seem a little more just them trucking through the desert. Yeah,
It doesn't track, especially if this kid was left out there when he was 10.
which is
That
probably
means-
why the
that means-
remake
yeah, that
went
means his
more nuclear
education-
mutant.
And they don't, like I said, they don't really. I mean, I think the big mom character or whatever, like Mom Monster, maybe speaks English or something. But
Yeah.
like the ones that do like the raid on the like van don't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's,
Billy Drago's Jupiter in that one, but
Yeah.
he's not really like a central character
Right.
like in this one.
yeah.
But he shows up, and you're like, oh, Billy Drago's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And they are like the aesthetic of the mutants in the remake is very much like once you see them in the full desert sunlight, you're like, holy fuck, because they like aren't they like in the house for a lot of the movie? I feel like there's like a shack they're in that we cut back to a lot.
Yeah.
It's the nuclear test dummy.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, visually.
The house that they.
Yeah, because he goes through a cave and ends up in like the actual like fallout zone or whatever, where the So I mean, visually, the movie, the remake does have a lot going on for it.
Whereas this one, they are really just like hillbillies, not so much mutants.
Yeah.
So they end up. Bob's got a heart condition, running back and has a heart attack apparently, and so then they take him and use him as bait.
They do. They crucify him.
See, this is why when it says the lucky ones died first, not true. Not true, because Bob's the first one to die, and he is not. It's not lucky. No.
Yeah,
he went through some shit.
It's a grisly way to go because, right?
He gets crucified, and then as a distraction, when they're in the middle of the raid, Michael Berryman says, "Do it!" And Raid in, and they
set him on fire.
Yep.
They blow up something, which sets him on fire.
And so you just hear him screaming.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, like out in the movie plays that up a lot. I guess that's the one thing that maybe does it more than the remake. Does the original hit with that like there's some characters who feel like they're losing their mind. They're reacting in ways that seem like all modern movies play people like too stoic in the face of like madness. And 70s movies are like, oh no, this actually like shock.
Yeah, Marilyn Burns went mad at the end of that movie.
I mean, it's been a while.
Texas Chainsaw,
It's been a while since I saw the remake, but I remember lots of screaming. So.
Yeah.
More screaming than this one?
A lot of screaming.
There was a lot of screaming.
But also, like I said, it's more graphic.
Yeah, I do think the remake was definitely trying to make a 70s exploitation movie in 2006.
Yes.
It felt like 100%. They really wanted it. It has that yellow filter that like all of Rob Zombie's movies from that time also have, you know?
Well, it would have came after House of a Thousand Corpses, which was like a callback to this era, and the Texas Chainsaw remake that basically kicked them all off.
Yeah.
So the raid, how do they orchestrate it? What's the plan?
Michael Berryman goes. He's the scout. He's sneaking in to.
Well, they wait until after dark, right? Brenda and Ethel are asleep in the RV.
Yep. Dee Wallace and Doug are out in the car.
Yep.
Making love.
Boning.
Yeah.
Oh, not the time, guys. There's a lot of bad shit going on.
That's another issue I have with this movie.
Maybe it's a release, Michaela.
No, that's
trying to find something good in the bad.
That's another issue that I have with this movie is that they're in the car fucking, and then the mom and daughter just like put on their nightgowns and go to bed. I'm like, your dad is missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Full on missing. Yes. And like your dog has been killed. Like, what are you doing?
Well, they try to justify this, whether or not it's believable or not, but it's like, if he's not back by 11 o'clock, then we're going to go. Because there is an expectation he's walking 15 miles, so it's going to take him there and back.
Which is like, already, that's where this movie starts, is this old guy with a heart problem is going to walk 15 miles in the military bomb desert at night.
And he's like, oh, that's not that far. I'm sorry, it is.
I couldn't tell you the last time I walked 15 miles at once. Are you kidding me? Like, let alone.
I couldn't tell you the last time I walked 2 at once.
Right?
15.
Like, let alone through like an unfamiliar desert. In a remote military bombing location.
Yeah, he's going back to the gas station he's been to once.
Like, I'm sorry. My dad was walking 15 miles in the desert. I'm not putting on my nightgown and going to bed. I'm sitting there hysterical all night.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't track.
Well, I also was like, okay, Doug doesn't seem to actually know what danger they're in, because only Bobby does. Bobby goes and finds the dead dog.
Right, and then doesn't say shit afterwards.
So there's a lot of scenes where he's trying to tell. So it's like he doesn't want to tell any of the women to disturb them.
Yeah, he doesn't want to.
And he's waiting for Doug to get back, and then he never gets a chance to tell Doug. So it's like Bobby should have been more vocal about what kind of danger they were facing.
Probably, yes.
And so he never really gets to say what's happening. And so Doug and Dee Wallace don't know.
Lynn. Her name is Lynn.
They don't know that there's this danger. And then it all of a sudden erupts. in their face. So Michael Berryman like sneaks in, right? While they're out looking for the dog or something, Beast.
He snuck in. He's looking at. He's seeing everything kind of that they have, like what they can raid from this group and everything. He also finds Brenda asleep in the thing. He's gonna take her, and then once stuff starts going off, Michael Berryman. That's when he radios to. He's Pluto, Mars to do it, to blow up the thing as a distraction so they can grab everything and get out of there.
So they blow up Bob.
They blow up Bob.
Crucified Bob is lit on fire, and so then that draws everyone to that.
Yeah, except for Brenda and the mother who are stuck in the... Oh, no, it's except for Brenda. Everyone else leaves and goes. This is where the mom goes... She goes mad.
Yeah.
She goes nuts, which is, this to me, 100% believable.
Yeah, because she feels like your mom. You know, she doesn't feel like... I guess, you know, in the remake, it's more movie mom. Yeah. This is like, oh my God, it's like this old woman is like going through like, holy shit.
That's not Bob. And she's just laughing hysterically. Yeah. It's like, oof.
Yeah.
It's rough.
At the charred corpse of her husband.
Right, who's just smoking from the mouth.
And then,
which I could see every just before they started rolling, it's like, they're putting the cigarette in his mouth. All right, take a puff of that. All right, take it out. And then he's like, oh.
Yeah.
As his insides have been roasted.
Yeah, that's a good touch. And Mars sneaks in too. So he rapes Brenda and decapitates and drinks the blood of a bird.
He popped that thing off like
right.
This was maybe one of the most shocking moments of the thing where he reaches and grabs the bird, pops the head off, and then drinks the blood. I would expect it like
a juice box.
It really was.
Like,
I'm trying to think,
it work that
or one of those old like plastic candies that had juice in it.
Yes,
you got to pop the thing off and drink it. That's the first thing. I don't know why it's the first thing that came to mind.
It
is. Those little wax candies.
Yeah, the little wax candies. You pop it off and then drink it. I'm just like, Jesus. I was not expecting to pop the head off and drink the blood of the bird. Caught me off guard.
And then they steal the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh my God, they're going to, because it's like baby fat. And they're like, oh shit, they're going to eat this baby. Like, this is holy shit. And then it gets worse, right? Because Lynn comes in and is like, you're not taking my baby. And there's a struggle that ensues where she is shot. Right?
Yeah, she gets shot in the gut and then
tries to stab him in the thigh.
Still stabs him in the leg with his knife and everything, and he shoots her again. Yeah. Shoots the mom. Like, I know. Yeah, this is rough.
Yeah. And it's like, oh my God. And like, it's scant seconds. Like,
and Brenda is useless.
Brenda. Well, Brenda's just like not prepared for this world that she's about to enter. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, because I think the movie, the line that stuck with me that like, oh Jesus, was him, like he drags her out and points that gun at her face and he's gonna blow it off, but he's out of bullets. Then he's like, I'll come back for you later, girly. And I'm like, oh Jesus. Like, I mean, this is a horror movie.
Yeah, it's he's got that voice of, I'll come back for you later, girly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Robert Joy plays that part in the remake.
His name betrays him.
Right?
For this
the
part.
sidekick in Land of the Dead.
Yeah.
I've seen him before.
Amityville 3D. Anyway. So sorry. So the guys like come back to find, okay, like, you know, everything is upside down now. Like we are in a world of shit. These guys are out there. They're going to come back.
Doug comes back. He finds his wife is dead. His mother-in-law has been, shot and is on the verge of death in there.
When he's cradling her.
Yeah.
And like, please don't be gone. It's like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was a tough one. It's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his baby's gone.
Yeah. The baby's gone.
And I mean, you assume that like the baby's gone, like right that moment, they're going to take it back and kill that baby.
Yeah.
But they don't. So we actually get to see the family then. The movie switches to the cannibalistic family. Yep. So what kind of dynamic do they have? Who are these people?
They're hill people.
Yeah, there isn't too much of a dynamic as far as figuring out who, if anybody has any specific roles and everything. But
they're like cavemen. They have like bone necklaces. And,
they do.
Like it's like just animal furs and.
Yeah, we know that Jupiter is in charge. Because he's the big guy that, that the prospector was talking about earlier. So he is the
They're all afraid of him.
They're all afraid of him.
Yeah.
Because he is the most vicious. So we got him, Mars, Pluto, Ruby, which doesn't fit. But
Yep.
Mercury,
who's got the headdress on, who's hanging out up on the cliffs with the radio and everything, who gets murdered by the Beast.
Hell yeah, he does.
In a revenge movie that we wanted to keep going since this part.
It was solid.
What if I told you that in
Don't toy with me,
the
Colin.
sequel,
Okay.
The Hills Have Eyes Part 2,
Also directed by Wes Craven.
Beast returns.
Woo!
I just remember the
Does
thing
he get
about
more
that movie.
revenge?
It should be called Beast Revenge. Yeah.
There is a Beast has a flashback in that movie. I remember
What?
like they go in on Beast and there's
Oh my
and he has a flashback to this movie.
Wow. All right, I love it.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
All right.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of this movie in the second movie,
Silent
like
Night,
way
Night
too
too.
much. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, I do love that Beast because like Beauty got gutted pretty early on in this movie. So we just love watching this movie through the lens of this is a Death Wish movie. He is having his Charles Bronson moment.
There is a moment where Beast looks in the eyes of a man he's killed and watches him die.
Yes.
No joke.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty great.
The way he kills the first guy is by jumping up and pushing him off a cliff.
Yep.
Okay, that is like a dog fighting its instincts because its instinct should be to bite and attack, right? And the dog's
Right.
like, no. That's not good enough. I'm gonna push you off this fucking cliff.
Yeah.
Like, his dog is strategic in planning.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Very. Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
and he
we love
like
this song.
waits.
Yeah.
He waits for his. Oh, it's,
Oh yeah, because he watches people rounding a
Yes.
corner and then he runs after him.
yeah.
This is a smart dog.
He's lethal.
Yes.
That is
He's a good
Beast.
dog.
Well, how many
The
people
goodest boy.
did Beast actually kill in the
Two
movie?
at least.
Two.
He killed two.
he kills
Yeah.
Mars and then
And
he kills
And
Michael
Pluto.
Berryman.
Michael Berryman
Yeah.
rips his
Michael
throat
Berryman.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Good
Yeah.
dog. Good
I
dog.
guess that's what you do, right? It's like you've got a dog who can attack. It's like you're going to rely on the dog, even if you can't do the fighting, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, where.
And the dog grabs a radio and brings it back to home
Right?
base.
Smart
Like
dog.
when Doug's got the dog, he's like, "All right, it's your turn," and he sends him
Right?
off on a fucking mission.
He's like, well, they're sitting there watching. He's like, shh, like quieting the dog, and then he's like, all right, you're up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dog is part of the team, the best part of the team.
I know. Well, Bobby is like really torn up when
Very
Beauty
torn
is
up.
killed, and it's like because I think these dogs are like they are part of the family.
Yeah,
you know?
we didn't get to see all that personality from Beauty, but I imagine she was also in that same vein as Beast.
So they keep the baby alive.
They do. Ruby has taken kind of care of the baby because I don't think she wants anything to happen to it.
Yeah, that's
she
her.
seems
a
to
little
be
bit.
the most human of the hill people.
Yeah, again, this is the same person who's just at the beginning of the movie. She's like, I would like out of here.
Yeah.
I would like not to live here anymore.
Grandfather, please take me with you.
Please, grandfather, I would like to go.
You
Put
don't
me in the
need
cage
no
with the
knife
pig.
and a
I'll
fork
leave.
from your hands. You'll never fit in the outside
That doesn't
world.
mean she shouldn't, get to
Right.
live and leave. Choose a better life.
I was worried this movie was going to pivot into like a B story of her wanting to like keep the baby and raise it and like part of the family.
Now,
Like,
see,
oh,
now
God.
I would have thought like there is a version where the baby, there are more hillbillies that
Yeah.
live, and the baby sticks with them, and then later on we see in a sequel what happens now that baby
Yeah.
has been brought
Yep.
up with
Yeah.
this family.
Yep.
So that is a thing.
I was worried that's where we were going.
Yeah.
Possible.
So we like that it doesn't go that
Yeah,
direction.
yeah, I guess.
I like that it doesn't go there. I want a different sequel to go there. I eventually wanted to go there.
But then like, so she has awareness of the outside world. So like, I'm curious how much each family member has an awareness of what all is out there.
I wonder.
She's just like, I want to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I wonder
Because they
how
just
much
hear
they
the
care.
stories from,
Yeah.
well, I suppose from mom. Mom
Yeah.
comes from the outside world, and
Right.
grandpa,
Yeah.
Right.
has interactions with the outside world.
Yeah.
Told them about the planets. So
Have
the
one book. I was really waiting for a scene where Ruby sat down with the baby and read the one book they
Yeah.
had, which was a planet book.
And it's like a board, like the baby board book. Like it's the most basic version.
Right.
Yeah.
With like this is where our whole history of our family comes
Yep.
from. It's just like this is where we named everybody.
that means Ruby could read, though.
See, that's what I'm saying. Swiss cheese and
But
this
maybe mom
family's
can read.
backstory, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Or Jupiter probably can because
Yeah.
he was 10 before. Yeah.
And see, that's why the remake made a smart choice in being like, they've all been touched by nuclear
Right,
radiation. Who
mutants.
knows? You
Mutants
know,
all around.
Yeah, when it's like they could have any weird qualities because they've been radiated.
It would have been very funny if within the remake, because they're all mutants and everything, you get the one that's like the intelligent gremlin from Gremlins 2. Who's just very, very classy and very just like, family, we're going to get out of here. I'm telling you, we just need to rape and pillage this family and we can get out.
Is Derek Mears Pluto in the remake?
No, I don't think so.
It was somebody who was in some other
Let's see.
horror franchise or something. Okay, so they devise. I don't. Is there a plan? How do you survive? This is putting these quote unquote normal people against like. Okay, now we have to. We got to get the baby back. I mean, we have to have action.
It was Michael Bailey Smith who was Super Freddy in Nightmare on Elm Street. Dream Child.
Okay.
And like
the black and white one.
His like main credit is The Hills Have Eyes. He was also in Men in Black 2.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he is creepy. Just says creepy.
Well, okay.
I think he's just he's one of those really tall guys that plays really tall monsters kind of thing.
There you go.
Okay.
There's a living in that.
So Doug sets off to find
the baby.
Yeah, the baby.
Because they do have a couple of guns, I think, right? Like that's what they're trying to defend themselves with, but they're terrible at it because they're not, familiar with them, right?
Yeah.
But he takes one, right?
I think at this point they have one gun.
They had 2 guns, but the Michael Berryman took the ammo for one of them.
Right. And what's his name? Jupiter has the big gun that Big Bob had.
Yeah.
So I think they're left with one gun that Bobby has.
Which I think they find out. The family finds out through a clever ruse on the radio.
Clever. They should not be clever.
Well, they know how to respond.
No.
Yeah, why not? They heard this. They've heard this kind of radio chatter all this time.
Again, they have been living next to a military base for a while, it seems. So they picked up a few things over the years.
Yeah. So they pretend to be
I was not buying
like they answer a Mayday call.
Mongoloids.
Yeah.
Yes,
and it's like, yep, what's your defensive capabilities? And we got 1 gun and 2 bullets. I'm like, okay, what are you, stand on your head and put your
thumb up your ass? And, yeah.
They're worse. They make fun of you before they're about to kill you.
These 2 are fucking idiots, though, because they think they've contacted the military, and the first question is not, what is your location, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they even say, like, we're stranded.
Have?
We suck. The question is, what defenses you have. You really think these people were not built to go on this trip.
No.
They're not built to survive.
No.
Yeah. And Grandma Ethel, she passes away from the wound that she has sustained.
She does.
And so...
And then she's used as a decoy.
Yeah, I was going to say, my second beef with this is that Brenda's not fucking smart enough to come up with this plan.
This is all Bobby.
No, Brenda.
Brenda came up. The movie says Brenda came up with
What was Bobby's plan? He had
Brenda's
something.
literally like, I have an idea, and then she grabs the spool.
No, she's too hysterical and gone.
No,
she
but
should not be able
she's
to-
the one who actually comes up with it.
I know, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're saying in the world of the movie, it
Yeah,
makes sense.
it
I don't
makes-
see a time where she would have a moment of clarity to come up with this.
Yeah.
No, because she was already stupid, and now she's like crazy and stupid because of what's happened to her.
Right.
Yeah. This doesn't track.
I found this is like proto Nancy from A Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
Yeah.
The idea like booby traps. Wes Craven likes his booby traps.
does.
He does.
And so she's going to come up with, what was Bobby's plan? Because he had something that he was going to do, and then it went.
I think her plan was the spool, and then his plan was the matches on the door.
Ah, there you go.
I think that's what it was.
I do appreciate they made an attempt to MacGyver this shit. This is probably
really
the best
did.
idea they've had the whole movie.
It
you know?
100% is.
Yeah.
And when you see it, you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
Because, you got to try. It feels like we're going to stack up plans.
Yeah.
One of these has to work in order to get rid of this guy. Either he gets dragged into the... Okay, so they set up a spool because Doug has come back earlier in the movie because he has walked off into the distance 5 miles away. He comes upon the remnants of the Army Navy kind of outpost that they had there where they sell all the shovels.
He's just like, there's so many treasures.
Right, we could collect them all and open them up. He did. He's like, treasures. Oh, I love it. Treasure.
So many treasures.
But he comes back with like spools of wire and a few other things and everything.
Like, look at all this great stuff.
He really
Doug's
does.
just like living his best life.
He really is. I love Doug. Doug and his enthusiasm.
Dumpster diving in the desert. He loves it.
Yeah. So from that point to where Doug ends up, like, is a total thing. But he ends up a spool of wire, which they've decided to set up a trap that wires through a car tire, an axle, the wheel of the car. So eventually they will start up the car. It's like a cartoon. It's like a Looney Tunes bit at this point, where they'll catch him by the foot, loop him up, and drag him into the car.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually,
And they're going to lure him by
Mom's corpse.
Oh, Mom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
In a
Mom.
lawn chair in the bush. Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless her for the makeup. Yeah, she just
Yeah,
hanging out
hard
there
to
dead.
do, I would assume, for these kids, but this is the desperation, I suppose, that the movie is.
This plan is Looney Tunes, though, because it relies
very
on
Looney
so
Tunes.
many things going right. He has to
Yes.
step
Which is why the
perfectly into that
stacking of the
loop.
plans. Like, one of these has got to work.
He has to step his foot perfectly into the loop for the noose to tighten and then pull it by it, which okay, we're talking off mic about Yellow Jackets, but Yellow Jackets has its own Looney Tunes version of a trap like this, where they do the thing where they sharpen a bunch of sticks and put it in a hole in the ground and then put the stuff over the hole. They do that
Does
in
it work?
a really gross, violent way. It works, but it was kind of funny because you laugh at first because you're like, "LOL, who falls for that?" Right? And then someone really does.
But also when you're just like running through the woods to get away from something,
exactly.
you're not looking where you're going.
But it's just amazing.
It's like an animal trap, right?
Yeah.
Boars or something.
Yeah, didn't Apocalyptico have that kind of trap? I think
so,
too.
I know the Village did.
Yeah.
Men have figured that out for
Yeah.
That is the basic trap. Yeah.
I do love how primitive technology like that, though, can still sometimes be just as effective.
Right?
You
Just
know?
depends where you
Yeah,
are. It's like, this could work out here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I like that this gizmo, right? The lasso.
The snare works for a hot minute, but then Michael Berryman has already siphoned the gas.
Yeah.
So they run out of gas.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That is why
The
it does
car
run
doesn't
out.
work.
You're right.
Yeah, that was a good. See, again, it's like it's setting everything up. Like everything that
does.
you need for the movie is like given to you in the movie.
It's there. It's there.
But I like that when it fails because you're like, well, what was actually going to happen? They were going to drag him up to I assume they were going to beat him to death. Right?
If
Was
nothing
the
else,
plan? Or
like
shoot him.
the first hope was he gets dragged in the wheel and just fucking spun around and
And
mashed
once
to
he's up
bits.
there, yeah, in a cart. Well, okay.
If it's enough to drag him through it, if he got to the wheel well and everything, he would just be like spun through and dead.
I think he was just going to shoot him.
Yeah.
Right, or or just shoot him, beat him up,
yeah.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
we get him to here, he's ours.
But the car runs out of gas, and so Papa Jupiter is out there like running around. He's like still
Yep.
coming at him, and so then they have the backup plan,
Yep.
which wasn't telegraphed. So it was like, oh, okay. Even though like we see throughout the movie these propane tanks,
Yes.
but they have basically what have they done?
They have put him in the trailer, opened him up so the trailer is filling with gas, and they have duct taped matches to a striking patch on the bottom of the door. So when the door opens, it'll strike the matches and blow up the trailer, which is their hope. So they've run in the trailer in order to lure Jupiter in because he thinks they're in there, and they hop out the back window and run away, just waiting for the explosion to happen. And it does.
Because a 70s movie, damn it, needs to end with a fire or an explosion.
But not before they show him hesitating at the door because he smells it.
He does. He smells the gas.
Like, he's not going to fall for this. We don't know. Is he dead?
So I have a question. How does this happen?
I think he got blown back by it.
Okay.
I think
Is that what you're...
Yeah. I
It's
think-
the only explanation for
Right.
it. Because he's still got to open the door.
Yeah, because he's all burned, I think, when he shows up
Yeah.
again. But we have the villain
right.
survives and jumps out of
so
nowhere.
he does. So the trap does work. He does open the door, but because it's so instantaneous, he gets blown backwards.
Yeah.
yeah,
And ends up living for the short amount of time that he does. But yes.
and it is he attacks Bobby, and it is Brenda who kills him. Then Brenda comes running out with the family's axe, which we've also set up, and hacks him to death. Right? I think that's the last that we see of that pair.
Yes.
I think that's the end of the movie for them. It's like the,
it is
the
based
savagery
on
of
the
like
sudden ending of this
Yeah,
movie.
the movie's
Yes.
then like cuts mid him swinging up to stab on a freeze frame, and then turns red, and the movie's over.
But
Yeah,
then
so we
it
get
ends
that.
that way for Brenda
yeah,
And ends that way for
prior, and
Brenda,
then then we just cut to
Yeah.
so what's going on
Right,
with
back
Doug?
to the hills.
yeah,
Yeah.
Where we have this is Mars, right? Or so
No, Mars is dead.
no Mars is the
Pluto
one with
gets killed. This is Mars.
Oh, that's
Pluto
right.
gets
That's right. That's right.
Mars is the one with the teeth. So Mars is still out there. He's got the cut on his leg, so he's still at the place with Ruby and the baby, which is what Doug is trying to do. He's trying to get the baby back. That's his whole plan. So what do they do to look? He's
Ruby.
he's also
turns-
there with Beast.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Ruby turns on the family
Yeah.
and is like, "I'm going to save this baby." And so I think she substitutes a pig for for Mars to
Yeah.
kill.
Oh, right. And Mars is like, bring that right
The
because
pig that they stole from Grandpa.
right because they radio back. Jupiter radios back. Kill that baby.
Yeah.
It's like it's done because something has
Yeah.
happened, and so Ruby brings out something wrapped in the blanket. It's the pig.
Yeah.
Hopefully the pig got away. We don't know.
So she's going to reunite
so.
the baby with Doug,
Yes, that is her plan. Her
with
want.
Mars in pursuit.
Yes.
So how is Doug, this guy who hasn't killed anybody, versus this guy who's killed hundreds of people? How are they going to? What's going to happen? How's he going to get the upper hand?
I mean, they're running through the canyon. There's fighting. There's pushing.
Doug ends up in a rattlesnake den.
He does, because he's got a knife that from the family as well that he's set aside. He's like, I'll use this when he gets near me. But also, like, Mars has a knife as well. But Doug's knife is again hitting, guarded by a giant rattlesnake, as we saw.
Huge. My God.
Huge.
This thing is. And like knowing how movies were made back then, they definitely killed the snake in this movie, right?
It said at the end of the movie that no snakes or no animals were destroyed or harmed in the making of this movie. This is before the American Humane Society got it.
Because we had a huge tarantula earlier in the movie, by the way, which was not a scene they planned to
what? Really?
No,
they came upon a tarantula walking across the road, and they're like, let's use it. And so they put it in that scene with Dee Wallace.
Oh, I'd be so mad. I'd be like, I did not sign up for this.
She did it. She was not happy.
No.
It plays like, though, like she was like, I didn't sign up for this. I mean, it reads as very real.
I don't want any animal on the set that could hurt me that there's no professional handler for. You can't just scoop an animal off the side of the road and be like, work with this now. Like, no.
It's like, I don't know what this thing can do. You don't know what this thing can do. But there we go. So Doug, they chase him to a canyon,
and then because Doug can't get back into the rattlesnake den to retrieve his knife, he does attack.
There's a fight
because Mars is going after the kid, and so it's the father instinct, right? He's going to protect his kid, and he just like doesn't have any weapons. He attacks this guy, who I think still have a knife on him.
Oh, he's got that big knife. Yeah. And so there's that fight over it. I was expecting a Saving Private Ryan moment.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, please don't do it.
Yeah.
And
it sure looks like that's going to happen.
Sure, because there's even a stab towards his head that was a little too close as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
That he stabs into the sand, but they end up fighting. They tussle around with a knife.
Ruby pins a snake down.
Oh, well, Ruby, yes, that's it. Ruby's like, I'm going to go get the snake. Ruby grabs this snake, God bless her, and brings it back right to Mars's neck, and the snake bites him in the neck. And he's like, ah! And that's when Doug takes control, gets the knife.
The dynamic there is that this is her brother that she has lived with for like all of her life, right? So she has like, made a decision.
Yes.
I don't know if she expected it to go as far as it went the other way. She's like, okay, I tagged him with the snake. He's going to die. I haven't effectively killed my brother, right? But Doug takes advantage of the weakened state of Mars and like stabs that motherfucker to death with fury and rage for everything that he's put his family through. Ruby is sitting there and you're like, oh my God, like she's kind of fucked. But
and that's it.
Yeah, it like freezes.
Yeah.
That's it. They are
mid-frame of him in
family is dead.
What?
It is done.
Okay, the family of mutants, or like hill people is dead. But
Michaela's like, what happens now?
They're still stranded. They have not solved that problem.
Right.
They survived these people, but what now? I don't feel like the narrative is finished.
Hopefully
the family to the south hasn't come out yet, and so they will now make their entrance known, and that's where we get part 2.
Well, I mean, hopefully the Air Force sees there's an RV on fire in the middle of the desert.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna.
I don't know.
I think that's
it depends if it's a Saturday, and they don't work or something like that. They'd be screwed.
This is tough.
We know that the phones are cut at the gas station. The car there has been blown up, so there's no transport.
No, I think the family at this point is like, let's collect ourselves, and I think they just walk until they find someone.
It's Memorial Day weekend, and everyone's off for the long holiday.
It's the desert. There's rattlesnakes.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't look good, but it's the only option.
If there is an Air Force base nearby, they'll find it.
Yeah, go there, and that's it. That's all they can
say. It was like abandoned. The one that
there's one that's abandoned. There's also.
I mean, if they're doing tests, there's clearly one nearby somewhere.
Yeah, true.
So find that one, and there you go.
Yeah, that's as far as we can go. The family gets together, walks off, and we don't know.
Yeah.
That's us assuming that.
That's us,
yeah, because that's not how the movie ends.
Because we're left with a stabbing murder.
Yep.
By Doug.
The movie goes to red.
Yeah, goes to red.
The hills run red. That's a different movie.
Different movie.
I always wondered if the Hills Run,
his anger.
I always wondered if that
runs
was a
red.
sequel that we didn't know about, but that was just me. Just
It's an
basing the
interesting stylistic choice to fade to red and then run the credits on red.
title.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was the 70s.
Yeah.
You don't really do that much anymore.
All right. Well, I guess that's The Hills Have Eyes.
It is.
We're going to tell you whether or not we would recommend that you watch it. I'm curious to hear because we've got Holly has seen both.
Correct.
Michaela's seen the remake.
Now I've seen both.
And
I've seen nothing.
Sean has just seen
Except
this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so but first of all, we're going to answer some of your mail, and in order to do that, we're going to have to summon our mailman, Igor. Bring us the mail.
Masters, the mail. I've got the mail. So many letters. Our followers are rising.
Why, thank you, Igor.
Thank you.
Definitely a hill person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
relatives.
think he's more of a nuclear waste hill person. Than
I would say so.
Yeah.
Feels like it.
Mhm.
He leaks like he's a nuclear waste person.
We've established that before. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well, I suppose we should let the good folks at home know how they can get a hold of us from this interactive portion of our show by following along on Facebook,
Facebook.com/Saturday Night Freak Show.
on X,
At Sat Freak Show.
by email,
SaturdayNightFreakShow@yahoo.com.
or on Instagram at Saturday Night Freak Show. About tonight's movie, Pat Hatfield writes in and says, "This is my second favorite horror movie following the almighty Night of the Living Dead. Thanks for having it on your show, and I hope you all enjoy it as much as I."
Oh,
Thanks.
Thanks, buddy.
Michael Whitaker says, "I've seen both versions of the movie. I prefer the original, if only because we know that radiation doesn't turn you into monsters or mutants, as cool as that idea seems. In reality, the family should have come across a bunch of cancer-ridden victims in dire need of medical attention. Give me old-fashioned inbred hillbilly monsters any day."
Oh, has anyone here seen Teeth? The movie
I have
Teeth?
not seen Teeth.
Yeah.
That is a radiation
Is
movie.
it really?
They live next to a nuclear power plant.
Oh, that's
Michaela,
right.
you should bring
I'm
Teeth.
gonna have
You
to
should
bring
bring
Teeth.
Teeth.
The
yeah.
vagina
I think-
dentata movie.
Vagina
I think
Dentata,
that
yes.
would it'd be good discussion for the show. You should bring that movie.
I had high hopes for that movie. Okay,
see, all right. I said bring Teeth.
Travis Legler says, "Classic Craven movie. For years, when I saw Michael Berryman on the VHS cover at our local video store, I always said, 'Hey, it's that guy from Guyver, Weird Science, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.'
Yes.
Never knowing that he was in this horror classic. I love how Craven made movies like this, but in life he was a very gentle and well-spoken and kind-hearted person.
Yes.
He's missed."
He is that was the other reason I brought this tonight. I was watching something the other day and I'm just like, God damn it, I miss Wes Craven.
And we haven't done as many Wes Craven movies on the show as we had, like John Carpenter, who've covered most of it.
Right? No, but
Catching up with
We've
Wes
done
Craven.
quite a few.
we did,
Most of
but
them
we
are
did a lot of
Scream.
Scream. We
Yeah.
did a lot of Scream,
Well, but we did
New Nightmare.
Deadly Friend or whatever.
Shocker.
we did
Shocker.
Deadly Friend,
Yeah.
Shocker, New Nightmare.
New Nightmare. We did My Soul to Take.
Oh, true.
Yeah, we've done a lot of
Maybe we
Craven.
have-
Yeah.
Okay.
on this.
All right.
We have done
Yeah,
a lot.
well,
We did it was like my first pick ever. What was the werewolf movie he did? Curse.
Curse.
We did.
Yeah.
I did. That was
Quite
one
a
of the
bit.
reasons I
Yeah.
brought this time. Because
Yeah.
like I was watching again.
We've just
I
spread it
miss
out
him.
over
Yeah.
12
Yeah.
years. That's
Yeah.
why it doesn't
Quite a
feel
few,
like that
though.
much. Yeah.
I miss that guy who would
People Under the Stairs.
People
Did
Under
we
the
say that?
Stairs?
Holy shit. Okay.
We've
I
done a
stand
lot.
All right, you stand
corrected.
corrected.
Yeah.
We've done a lot
We've
of Wes
done-
Craven
we've done
movies.
so
There's
much.
still a lot we could do, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I miss his gruesomeness along with his kindness and big heart.
Yeah.
You know, which is what everyone
Which
says
developed,
is
though. Like
Yeah.
his early movies, like these are gnarly. Like,
Oh
he
no,
was a
but
guy who-
but he's been
Yeah.
gnarly like for his career.
Yeah.
Like look at Scream 4 when he got back into it. Like just that's a gnarly movie as
Yeah.
far as kills
That
go.
movie
Well,
looks
it's like
better every day
Scream
now,
was
doesn't
like,
it, Sean?
Yeah, it does.
kinda does.
Shut up,
Yeah.
Michaela. It does. Shut up. It does. You're right. God damn it.
Well, Joey Blythe says, I love both versions. The remake is 90% the same movie, but I think I prefer the 2006 Doug. His extreme character arc makes that one, and 51% on Rotten Tomatoes is bullshit. What?
51%.
Wow.
Yeah,
What?
that's harsh.
This one
Yeah.
only has like 63, so we're not
What?
far off the mark.
Okay. And
This
thank
might
you.
be too sleazy for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
bet.
Like, I think
Yeah.
we're used to this level of
Yeah.
crime, but
definitely.
yeah.
I know, even watching it tonight, I'm like, man, I haven't like seen something like
watching
this
it
rough in a while.
There were moments I was like, oof.
Yeah.
When we were all just like quiet.
Yeah. Very quiet viewing experience tonight. Yep.
Thank you, Joey, again for the post.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Those are delightful.
The boy with the Jason tattoo says, when we talked about Texas Chainsaw having a porn parody, so does this movie have a porn parody? It's called The Hills Have Thighs. Not that I've seen it.
You've seen it.
Great title. I don't love the title.
I don't need this to have a parody.
Great title. I don't want to see the movie.
No.
Because it can't be good.
Don't need it.
Can't be good.
He attached the poster.
All right.
So last week we watched a movie called Twisted Pair, the movie that broke us.
Yeah, we did, Colin.
And James Hogan writes in and says, quote unquote, amateur filmmaker. More like auteur. He's made 6 feature films, Double Down Rules, and I would call him an independent filmmaker.
Apparently, his earlier films are more actually like shot in the desert and
out.
like less stock footage, is what I hear.
Oh yeah. Well, this is like,
but he actually films in a location.
yeah. This is
not what we
when
saw.
he discovered the green screen.
Yes.
Right, because where was his
Nevada State University.
Nevada State, it was Nevada. All right, so desert areas around.
Yeah, because he's in Vegas. Oh, another thing I learned is apparently one of his characters in one of his movies, their like bucket list thing is to see the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. He lives in Vegas. You can see it like every day.
Okay. All right.
Dream big.
Neil Breen.
It continues to be
a mystery,
a conundrum.
a legend.
Yeah. Yep.
Pat Hatfield writes in again about Twisted Pair and says, sorry, I cannot watch this movie, though I will watch the Freak Show episode about it because I cannot deal with Neil Breen's flat, characterless voice. If I were to listen to an entire movie's worth of that voice, I might end up throwing myself out a window, and that's something I don't have on my bucket list.
Sure.
Yes.
Understandable.
Yes. I don't fault anyone who can't make it through those movies.
Yeah, as we said last week, it's just like we're good either way you feel about those movies.
Corpo Agent 73 says YouTuber Jason Brandt had a Breen-a-thon for his 200th episode, watching every movie back to back to back to back to back, and I'm pretty sure they all needed an alcohol rehab after that.
I was going to say, are they okay?
Yeah, why would you do that?
I'd have to be institutionalized after that.
No.
6
You guys
Neil
wouldn't see me
Breen
for a couple
movies
weeks.
Right?
Yeah.
No.
in a row.
No.
I think you guys would absolutely commit me.
Can you tell the difference between them? Because I
Right.
bet they're all the same.
I
Right?
wonder
Right.
at what point you're just like, this is the same movie.
Yeah.
It's the same movie.
Yeah.
It's the same movie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to find out.
It's
No.
programmable
We'll never know.
virtual
We'll
reality.
never know.
We'll never know.
The week before, we watched a movie called Stage Fright. David Dupree writes in and says, Michaela mentioned the injuries in the Spider-Man Broadway shows.
Yes.
And from
Turn
what
off
I
the dark.
understand, it was actually inspectors thinking loose cables were a danger and ordering them tied up that took away the slack that was designed to slow down the actors. Safety regulations for a catwalk nobody was supposed to be on caused a disaster for people who needed the equipment.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating.
We were talking about it was Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
'Cause
just
Stage
turned
Fright
off
was
that play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theatrical.
Yeah.
And people got like concussions and like spinal cord injuries. And stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't
bad.
good.
Yeah.
There weren't. Did we
No one died.
No one died.
No one died,
But people
like,
were injured.
yeah, you don't want to get a concussion like from a piece of set falling on your head. That's not good, you
Yeah.
know. So
I hear it was magical. Spider-Man swinging across the entire auditorium.
just stage wasn't meant to do that.
Yeah.
Nope.
And the Chronicle. Stage Fright is a slasher movie. If you didn't listen to the episode about a guy who wears a giant owl head mask, and the Chronicles of Not Riddick says, I wonder where that mask is now.
Yeah.
It probably crumbled.
Yeah.
Under somebody's bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, all of you, for writing
Yes,
in.
thank you as always.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.
We do
we
appreciate
do.
it.
And now we're going to go around the table and tell you what we thought of The Hills Have Eyes, starting with...
Colin,
Oh, boy.
what did you think of The Hills Have Eyes? 1977?
77.
Go for
I have always liked the movie and regarded it as a classic of 70s horror cinema. Like very high regard, but I think it was always outstripped by its comparisons to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I like it much better than I like Last House on the Left. I think it's like when you look at like 70s horror movies, especially this, it's like it seems like Craven's a smart guy. I think it's different than Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I think what he is going for is he is saying that like we all think that we live in a civilized world, but you're an animal, right? And if you strip away the veneer of civilization and put you in an extreme situation, you're an animal and you will do animalistic things. I think that is what the freeze frame at the end is kind of like.
Yeah.
Look, like, you know, we took Doug and he has
Doug, the most likable guy in this movie.
Is just this
happy-go-lucky
brutal,
Doug,
savage killer.
Doug found a junkyard and was the happiest he's ever been in his life.
Yeah,
and Doug is now feral.
Right, and look where we left Doug.
Yeah, and I think that is what he's saying. This is horror.
Yeah,
you know, it's like when all of your safety nets are gone. You know, all bets are off, and you are capable of awful things. I mean, maybe they're justified or whatever, but it's within all of us, and so that's I don't think I get that from Texas Chainsaw. You know, for a direct comparison, I do get that from. That's what I'm saying. I think he's remaking in some ways Last House on the Left. But yeah, I mean, I was struck by like, to me, this version. I do like the remake a lot. You know, I like it better when I imagine that they're two like different movies. I know they have the same, but it's like the 06 version is very much like one of the best movies I thought of 06, best horror movies.
Okay.
This one to me feels more like uncomfortably realistic. Like it feels like people are reacting the way that people would react in these situations, and it's uncomfortable and it's scary. And I think this is watching it tonight, I'm like sitting there going like, wow, I haven't seen a horror movie this good in so long. And you sit there going like, it's like 70s filmmakers just knew more about making movies. It feels like than like startup filmmakers today. And I don't know if that's just a broad, like of a majority. I don't know. It just feels like this is an accomplished movie for a guy's second feature film.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously Wes Craven is a legend for the stuff that he's done in the genre. I think, top marks from Twisted Pair to like, this is like at the top, you know, like
that's all. The history of Saturday Night Fever has been wiped out. What we have is Twisted Pair and Hills Have Eyes. That's it.
Recommended A++. Holly, what'd you think?
Yeah. I agree with you. There's a reason that this is a classic. It is a well-made movie. It is, like you said, for his second movie, I'm incredibly impressed by this movie. I like a 70s gritty feel to a movie. I always put this up with Texas Chainsaw and Last House, as in I don't love this type of movie. These are not my movies. They're not
hard movies to love.
Yeah, they're not ones that I like rewatch very often. At all. But with that being said, I appreciate these movies. Like, I'm always going to say Texas Chainsaw is one of the greatest movies, and I also don't want to watch it. You know,
yes, understandable.
Yeah, and I feel that way about this movie. I don't care for this type of movie. It makes me very uncomfortable. So to watch it is not my cup of tea. However, I very much appreciate this movie. It's well made. It's intense. I actually like it better than the remake. The remake's very uncomfortable.
Very early aughts.
It feels like a Rob Zombie movie almost, you know? Like, it's like,
so it's uncomfortable in a different way.
Yeah, because I think Alex Aja kind of had the same parallel path as Wes Craven, starting off really extreme and then kind of leveling out later on. I mean, we watched High Tension on the show. Go back and listen to that.
Because the extreme gets you attention. And it gets you more, it'll get you more work.
And this was early in his career, too. I mean, this is right after High Tension, I think. Right?
Was this his second movie?
Might have been.
Oh wow! Or Piranha 3D or something in there. Yeah.
So I get what you're saying about like this one really encapsulates like human horror, people's reactions to it. But the extremeness of the remake makes it more unwatchable to me. So I do prefer this over the remake. But like I said, I appreciate this movie for what it is. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm never not going to recommend it. I think it's a staple for a reason. And watching it tonight, I was like, you know what? It still has the same effect, however many years later.
This was the second movie right after High Tide.
Oh, well. Yeah, this is the one that brought him to...
Second movie for him, second movie for Wes Craven.
Wow.
Like, hey, there you go.
There you go. So yeah, I'm gonna recommend it. It's not one that I want to revisit very often, but I definitely appreciate it for what it is. So, Michaela.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said, Hallie, because like this is a tough thing to recommend, you know. I like the space it occupies in horror history, and I like the space it occupies in Wes Craven's career. But yeah, this is not something that like you just casually sit down and watch. Like, I don't know, like when I sit down to watch a horror movie, I don't necessarily want to be horrified, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more just like, I want to be entertained.
Yes.
And this is just goes a little too gross for me. And the 70s grime always makes everything more gross. And part of me is like, I'm a little on the fence because part of me is like, why do I need this movie when I have Texas Chainsaw Massacre? And I also I was thinking a lot about Bone Tomahawk.
I was too, just
like,
because of the hills and everything they got.
They're Mongoloids. They're a Mongoloid family that raids a government building. It's the same fucking movie, just remade. Like, I think Bone Tomahawk is a remake of The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh wow,
yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
That movie's perfection. Like we covered it on the show. Bone Tomahawk's a perfect movie. I mean, it is like the artsy, highbrow version of this movie, but
that's a really good point.
So part of me is kind of like, why do I need this? You know, I spend like. The remake, I think, is really well done. I don't know if I'd say I'd prefer it. I think I like the changes it makes, but I don't. They both gross me out. You know, it's like
absolutely.
I'm gonna recommend it because I think it's like important to know this era of movies. But if you don't personally like it, I get it. If that makes sense.
100%. So
recommend. But also, like, yeah, I don't want to watch this again either. So, like, I'm good for now. But I'm gonna recommend it just because, like. This occupies a really interesting space in horror history and in Wes Craven's career, so it's a good educational watch, I guess. So I'm going to recommend it based on that. Sean.
Going in tonight, I was like, I don't want to watch this, but also like I get it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
No, and that's the thing. Yeah, that's one of the reasons. Like I realized that bringing in, I'm just like, I don't think anybody's gonna want to watch this movie.
Not gonna be hyped to watch.
Right?
Yeah,
No,
hell
right, we're not
yeah,
gonna be
can't
like,
wait.
Yeah, but I feel like because we hadn't watched it and because I hadn't watched it, like I feel like we needed to. We are the Saturday Night Freak Show, folks. There's certain movies you just got to get to at a certain point, and I figured we needed to get to The Hills Have Eyes. I can't like everything you guys said tonight. Beautiful, love it. I agree with you. I'm glad you're here to say things far better than I am able to say them myself. I like the movie. It's because I view it as just viewing the history of. I love Wes Craven, and so going back and watching the movies he made, the building blocks that he used to get to where he was into the era that I love him the most. It's fascinating to see. I agree. This is not a movie that you just. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to revisit this anytime soon. But I want to know the history of it, and I want to know everything behind it, and I want to know. And thank God for Era Video and all the special features they put on this Blu-ray, because I will be digging into those. The history at this point, being this far. After the movie, 40-something years later and all that stuff, watching the movie, I appreciate it and doing it, but the history of it is what kind of I'm more interested in. And this and Wes Craven have a very interesting history because he was involved in every movie in this series based on from part 1 and part 2 from the 70s and 80s up to the remakes that we have now.
And the sequel, right? There's The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 that he produced.
Yeah, right, in the 80s and all that stuff. So
in the 2000s.
Yeah.
They did a sequel to the remake.
A sequel to the remake.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, they did. The Hills Have Eyes 2, not part 2, but 2. Right. Okay, yeah, you're right. So it's a fascinating history of horror and where it comes from and all that stuff. Yeah, everything you guys said. I recommend it. It is one of those classic movies that I think you have to watch. Again, it's not the easiest watch. There are some moments where it's just like you really feel for these characters, and that's I think that's maybe tough for 1970s movies for a modern audience in feeling that for these characters. I really felt for these characters watching this movie tonight. I don't know if that's the easiest thing to do for a movie that's made from the 70s. But yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah, I recommend The Hills Have Eyes. It's classic. It's good.
Well, there you go. I guess that's a universal pro Hills Have Eyes. So that means that you are contractually obligated by listening to the show.
But also, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
This one has the last.
Yeah.
There's some movies we're not going to make you watch.
Yeah. Hardcore horror fans. It's you got to see. If you haven't seen it, you got to.
But
if you're already bummed out, maybe don't watch it.
Right. But it is worthy. I think that's the thing. So there we go.
All right, so next week we are going to watch a movie that's chosen by
Holly. What are we going to watch next week? We are in a new era, Holly.
We are.
We have watched Neil Breen and we have watched Wes Craven.
Yeah.
I've decided this is a new era.
Okay. Yeah. So it seems like a good time to.
So everything you thought about the past out the window. What do you want?
What do I want?
What do you want?
Well, we're going to go to the 80s.
Ooh, all right. I like the 80s.
Fantasy.
Oh.
We're going to lose some shirts, get out some swords, and we're going to watch Death Stalker.
Oh,
all right.
Okay.
I have it.
I don't know anything about this.
Okay.
It's also on Prime, but
Death Stalker or Death Stalker 2?
I was going to say, there's a couple of these movies, right?
Death Stalker 3 or 4, 1.
We're watching one.
We're watching one, but there are a few of these.
Yes.
All right. Good.
Okay.
Good. No, this is
Stories.
ones we should have. Yes.
Okay.
Deservedly so. This should be brought to the Freak Show.
All right.
We're gonna have some fun.
Death Stalker.
All right, that's next week on the Saturday Night Freak Show. We hope you'll join us. And until then, ladies and germs, the basement is going dark.